Your campus, local, national, and world news headquarters. Join us as RMU Live begins right now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Chris Walker.
And I'm Ed Albert. Thanks for joining us.
You know, it's probably one of the most talked about things on campus as of late. And, you know, if you go to the cafeteria, you can't get styrofoam containers very easily anymore, and pretty soon we won't be able to get them at all. Our partners at the Century broke the story in yesterday's paper. Parkhurst Dining Services will soon no longer be providing to-go containers, effective on March 16th. So the Monday after spring break, the food court will effectively become dine-in only. Now, anyone wishing to get something to go will have to get takeout from Romo's Cafe.
With spring break coming up, usually a big part of preparing to take the week off includes closing RMU's residence halls. This year, however, is different. For the first time, resident students will be not asked to leave during the week of spring break. Professional staff at the Office of Residence Life say that too many people usually sign up to stay during the break anyway, and that the buildings are not worth closing. Residence Life staff will be still on hand during the week to supervise the residents.
And with spring just around the corner, Student Life is giving winter one last hurrah with the Winter Blast being held this weekend. On Friday, there's an RMU alumni and class of 2009 happy hour from 5 to 7 at the Trivia Pub. And from 7 to 9, there's an ice skating dance party at the Island Sports Center. Now on Saturday, the men's basketball team plays Mount St. Mary's at 4 o'clock in the Sewell Center, and later in Romo's Cafe, Allison Tuesday will be performing at 9 p.m. Now for more information, you can contact the Office of Student Life. And switching to local news now, it's a story that's gained national attention. An 11-year-old boy in custody accused of murdering his father's soon-to-be wife along with her unborn child. Police are saying that the suspect, Jordan Brown, has been taken to the Allen Crest Juvenile Detention Center in Beaver County. Now, last Friday, the body of 26-year-old Kenzie Hook was found inside her Lawrence County home. Now, Brown remains charged as an adult and, if convicted, could be facing life behind bars.
A Washington County man is warm and dry again today after being rescued from Peters Lake yesterday afternoon. The man, who is not being identified, was recovered by the Peters Township Fire Department using an ice rescue boat. Peters Township Fire Chief Noel McMillan says that the ice was only 3 inches thick where the man fell through it. The ice is now receding with the days getting longer. And kids who violate the curfew in the city of Pittsburgh will have a place to go starting May 1st. Mayor Luke Ravenstahl announced yesterday that a new curfew center will open on North Dithridge Street in North Oakland. Three Rivers Youth, a nonprofit organization that previously operated a curfew center before budget cuts by former Mayor Tom Murphy, will run the new center. Three Rivers Youth will receive $500,000 to operate the center for 1 year, at which time the city will revisit their options concerning those breaking curfew.
A new health education policy will be going into effect in the Pittsburgh school system, and as voted on Tuesday night, will drop a long-standing policy of teaching abstinence only when it comes to sexual education. The plan, passed by an 8-to-1 majority, will continue to enforce the idea that abstinence remains the only certain way to avoid unexpected pregnancies and sexual diseases, but will add discussion of the use of contraceptives and alternative lifestyles. Now, a push for the change began last year with a petition circulated by parents of the students demanding a more comprehensive program.
The economy may be bad, and the Allegheny County may have the controversial drink tax, but sales at state stores in Pennsylvania are on an upswing. Sales since last summer to the end of June topped more than $2 billion. Experts say that the sales boost may actually be because of the bad economy. And coming up after the break, President Obama discusses the budget and the Pentagon lifts a ban.
Plus, Channing Frampton returns. He's here with your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Some hard choices ahead for America. That's what President Obama stated today in his address to Congress on his first budget. The president is describing his plan as a work in progress, but an honest accounting of where we are and where we intend to go.
Cuts we're going to make. No part of my budget will be free from scrutiny or untouched by reform. We will end no-bid contracts that have wasted billions in Iraq and end tax breaks for corporations that ship jobs overseas. And we'll save billions of dollars by rolling back tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans while giving a middle-class tax cut to 95% of hard-working families.
All right, now in case the need for more bailout money should arise, the president is including a $750 billion reserve in the budget. The federal deficit is expected to expand to $1.75 trillion. And meanwhile, the financial crisis is continuing to slam America's automakers, with General Motors reporting today a fourth quarter loss of more than $9 billion. The largest U.S. auto manufacturer is expected to use some $14 billion this year alone to make ends meet, with once profitable businesses in Asia and Latin America falling victim to the worldwide economic slump. GM was just barely able to avoid filing for bankruptcy last year and has said that with no bailout money, they could run out of cash entirely as early as next month.
Defense Secretary Robert Gates announced today that the Pentagon is lifting its ban on media coverage of the flag-draped coffins of war victims arriving at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. Some families of the victims agree with lifting the ban so the nation can grieve with them, while others feel the honor should stay private and grieve with the community. The coverage must be approved by the victims' families first. Gates ordered a review after Obama asked for more details on the long-standing policy. A Turkish Airlines flight over the Netherlands took a tragic turn yesterday. The Boeing 737 with 134 people on board made a crash landing into a field while trying to land at Amsterdam's main airport. The crash broke into the plane into 3 pieces and left 9 others dead. 55 others are reported as injured, and investigators have recovered the flight data recorders to find out exactly what went wrong.
Former Serbian President Milan Milanovic has been found not guilty today after being accused of war crimes and crimes against humanity in Kosovo by a UN tribunal. 5 other Serbian officials were found guilty of the same charges. Now, their crimes took place in 1999 during a military campaign against Kosovo's ethnic Albanian population. The court explained that the Serbian leader did not have direct individual control over the army and was found not guilty. And turning now to the weather front, back here at home, we've noticing some pretty unseasonably warm here lately, I think you could call it.
Yeah, you know, it's nice though, because we've been cold so long, and you know, with
it's a little reprieve.
Yeah, right. It'll be a nice change of pace.
But will it last?
Will it last? I don't know. Channing, tell if it's going to last. Channing, let us know.
Well, gentlemen, you do speak the truth. It has been quite warm out these past couple of hours, past couple of days. And will it continue? Well, it will for a little while, but let's take a look at what's going on right now. Temperatures are running at 52 degrees here at International Airport in Moon Township. Our dew point's at 37, so that means there's a little more moisture in the air for this time of day, for this time of year. Humidity's at 55%, pressure at 30.2 inches, which is keeping us dry for right now. And the winds are out of the south at 7 miles per hour, so they're ushering up some warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, which is bringing us the above seasonal temperatures for right now. Temperatures around the rest of the region: 50 degrees in Beaver Falls, 52 in Burgettstown, 53 in Washington, and 50 in Greensburg. New Kensington holding in at 51 degrees, and like we said, 52 here in Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at a wider perspective of the area. 46 degrees in Detroit, 55 out in Fort Wayne, the warmer spot on the map, 60 degrees clear down in Lexington, Kentucky, and we have a cool spot of 44 in Erie and 46 in Morgantown. Now for tonight, we'll see temperatures dipping down to right around 51 degrees, so not much of a difference to what it's feeling out right now. Rain showers will be moving in with another system that will be moving through the area come tomorrow and into this weekend. But our almanac for today looks like this. Our actual high was 55 degrees earlier this afternoon. 50 degrees is our low. Our normals for this time of year, 42 and 25, and our record high of 76 and -6. That's what our almanac looks like for today. For tomorrow, temperatures will be running right around where they were today, 51 degrees with a chance of rain showers. And if we take a look at the Frampton 5-day forecast, you can see temperatures will be taking another nosedive later this weekend as temperatures run down right around freezing for Sunday with another chance of snow showers. Sun should come out on Monday to begin the next week. So guys, the temperatures aren't going to be staying warm for much longer, but spring's on the way, so keep your fingers crossed.
So we will enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, don't keep the flip-flops out for too long, Chris.
I don't know any, so I don't have to worry about that.
All right, well, now let's send it over to Josh Elsas, and he'll tell us what's happening in sports. Josh?
Hey, thanks, guys. All right, today we're going to take a look at men's RMU basketball team, the men's ice hockey team, the Penguins, and did the Pirates steal a win? But first, let's look at our athlete of the week. Okay, Colonial Faithful, I know this weekend has been disappointing with our men's basketball team going 0 for 2, the women's lacrosse team losing in OT, and the women's tennis getting shut out by Carnegie Mellon. But it's going to be okay. The men's basketball team is still in a commanding first-place lead of the NEC. As far as women's lacrosse is concerned, it was a hard weekend, yes, but it was only their first game of the season. There's still a lot of lacrosse to be played, and that goes for the same for the women's tennis team. Things are looking forward to this weekend. The Colonial Crazies should look forward to the men's ice hockey team. In their last 4 games, they have been unbeaten, and they face off this weekend against Niagara. You can catch the men's ice hockey team at 7:35, both Friday and Saturday, at the RMU Island Sports Center. Friday's game will be televised on RMU-TV channel 98. That's 7:35. Make sure you go check them out. From our favorite college ice hockey team to our favorite professional ice hockey team, the Penguins made a trade to move defenseman Ryan Whitney to the Anaheim Ducks for forwards Chris Kunitz and prospect Eric Tangradi. The Penguins are sitting at a disappointing 10th in the Eastern Conference. The good news, they are 2 points out of the playoffs, and they play Chicago tomorrow. So it's baseball season. That means that the Pirates are in full swing. Surprisingly, the Pirates managed to beat the Philadelphia Phillies 8-2. Donald Veal goes in the record books as the winning pitcher. But that's all we have for you today. This has been Josh Elsas with Sports. Now back to you, Ed.
All right, thanks, Josh. Go Pirates, right? Right, Chris?
Always give them encouragement.
Yep. Well, now let's send it over to RMU Live's Chris Baginski with a commentary on a current event that is pressing, breaking, or even shocking. The views expressed do not reflect the views or opinions of RMU-TV. Here is the Baginski Report.
If you take a look at the front page of the most recent issue of the Century, you'll notice that you may have to change your eating habits. That's because the food court will no longer provide to-go containers for meals. This change is part of the Robert Morris effort to go green, which seems to be the fashionable thing for everybody to do these days. But one thing that the university didn't seem to consider is how this is going to be inconvenient for quite a few students. College students are typically busy, having to go to class or do homework, among other things. Therefore, having the option to take food out of the food court is an often enticing one. Personally, I don't think I've ever eaten a meal here at RMU without doing something else at the same time. I've got things to do. I shouldn't have to set aside 15 to 20 minutes of the day to strictly eat. All I know is I hope the workers of the marketplace are ready because they're about to get a lot more business.
Thank you, Chris, for that report. And that's all the time we have for today, so we thank you for joining us.
And be sure to tune in tonight for Colonial Sports Center at 9:30. And for a complete RMU-TV programming schedule, you can check out the latest edition of the student newspaper, The Century. For Ed, Chris, Matt, and Channing, I'm Chris Walker. Have a great weekend now. Take care, everybody.
Good night.